We'll just wait a few minutes before we get started. Good morning, Ziad. Before we do get started, before I introduce anything, I'll just mention that all attendees on this session are muted. However, for any questions or anything that you'd like to join in, please do use the chat function box.
Okay. It's probably worth also mentioning, Becky, that the session is being recorded, and we will share copies of the recordings after this session.
Yeah. Okay, it's 10 o'clock here now. Shall we make a start, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Well, first of all, I'd like to say hello and welcome to all of our accredited partner centres and attendees. Thank you for joining us today. My name's Rebecca Corns. I'm a Business Development Manager at NCC Education. I'm based at our head office in Manchester. And I'm joined today... and I'm joined today by Andrew, our Sales Director.
Good morning, everybody, and it's nice to be here today and to see you all attending. Thank you.
So we're here today to discuss two programmes, the BSc Honours Business Computing and Information Systems and the BSc Honours Cyber Security and Networking top-up degrees, both delivered by NCC Education and validated and awarded by the University of Central Lancashire. Today's session should last around 30 minutes or so, and it's really for the benefit of all of our accredited partner centres and to provide you and your staff with the necessary knowledge and the information to help your students when they are choosing the next step in their academic career, and also to give you some practical help with regards to entry requirements and the candidate registration process for the programme as well. As I mentioned just briefly before, for anyone else joining us, all attendees are on mute at the moment, but if you have any questions, please do use the chat function. And also just to mention, it is being recorded, so anything that's missed, we can share that for all attendees after the event as well. Okay, so we'll make a start today. So firstly, I'd like to talk about the IT degree pathway. So this is to give some background on the programmes that we're discussing. So a UK bachelor's degree is made up of 360 credits or 120 credits per year. What we're talking about today is the final part of this degree pathway, the level 6 programme, which is equivalent to the third year of the UK bachelor's degree. So another way that we refer to this, Andrew, is as a top-up degree, and that's so that students can actually top up their qualification, so maybe their level 5 diploma or HND. They can take that qualification and top it up to achieve a full UK honours degree. So students who enrol on this programme typically have the 240 credits required, and upon completion of the Business Computing and Information Systems or the Cybersecurity and Networking programme, they'll obtain that full UK honours degree. Now, one of the most important factors for students deciding upon which academic direction to follow is the employability and career options upon completion of the programme. The IT industry careers are among some of the highest paid jobs in the world, and also jobs in the cybersecurity are being the most sought after in today's society and today's industry. Recent data from May of this year shows that in the UK alone, there's a significant skills shortage for cybersecurity needs. And across the world globally, there's expected to be over 3.5 million job openings in cybersecurity by 2025. So students who have pursued the careers in IT management after completion of these programs, in IT consultancy, we have graduates who follow jobs into software engineering and networking, data management and information systems management as well. And moving on, I'm just going to provide some information about the programme itself, a little bit of background. So it's a well-established programme. It has been launched since 2013. This is the Business Computing and Information Systems top-up degree. And we've had over 700 graduates from a variety of backgrounds across the world. We've had learners across Europe, from the Marshall Islands, Australia. It's a very international cohort, as you can see there. So it's a modern programme. It's set and made and developed for an international workforce, providing opportunities across the world. So it is a UK honours degree, but it's really a global qualification that fulfills the needs of the industry today, and it travels across boundaries, and it acts as a springboard into an IT career. So why else should your students choose this programme? As we've mentioned, the top reason here really is for students who hold a level 5 diploma or equivalent, for example, higher national diploma or the NCC education level 5 diploma in computing. They can take this qualification and top it up to a full UK degree. And they can do that in either one full academic year, or if they choose to pursue that full time, or they can do it across 2 years in a part-time study. Another huge benefit of the programme is that it is 100% online. So when we think about flexibility and accessibility, it's very flexible for students to access whenever they need to. It's available for them through our virtual learning environment. And it's also very affordable, much cheaper than pursuing a full honours degree delivered in the UK and all the costs associated with that. So we deliver the programme, NCC Education delivers the programme, highly trained, highly qualified UK academics through our virtual learning environment. It's a synchronous programme, which means it is live delivery every single week. And all of our academics are highly qualified, highly experienced and trained, and we'll have a little look at that in a moment. Have you got any questions, Andrew? Anything you wanted to add?
No, I haven't. No. I think there's a few late arrivals, and just a message to those that we are recording the session, and we will send out recordings of the full session at the end of today. So not to worry if you think you've missed something. But no, please carry on, Becky.
Thank you. So as we said then, the flexibility and the accessibility is really important with this programme. So students can study at their own pace from their own country, their home country, and still be awarded a UK university degree. And all teaching staff are UK-based academics. And the programme itself, the degree, is awarded by the University of Central Lancashire. And it's really worth pointing out that this university is ranked within the top 7% of all universities worldwide. Now, as I've mentioned, so this is really important for you as an accredited partner centre when you're advising your students, when you're helping your students to choose the next step, to understand the actual entry qualifications. So we actually develop a list of direct entry qualifications that we can share with you your business development manager, your CSEs can share that information, academic support managers as well. And so typically, our students will be following the NCC Education Level 5 Diploma in Computing. So they follow that NCC Education Computing pathway. But there are numerous other qualifications which will allow students to progress directly onto the top-up programmes. For example, we have Pearson, or it used to be Pearson EdExcel, with the HND in Computing and Systems Development. We have OTHM Level 4 and 5 diplomas in Information Technology, and ATHE Level 5 Diploma in Computing. I think the most important thing here, Andrew, is that centres understand these are our direct entry qualifications, but if they are unsure, if a student has a local qualification or another awarding organisation, as the awarding body, we can assess that programme, we can assess its suitability, we can do a process called academic mapping, and as long as it fulfills the learning outcomes and the criteria to be comparable to the NCC Level 5, then we can look at that and consider it as an option to progress onto the top-up programme.
Yes, you're quite correct there, Becky. And we also consider some work experience as well, if somebody has a combination of work experience and academic qualifications. But if anybody is unsure, on our website, we have, if you go to About Us, Policies and Procedures, and there's a document called Direct Entry and Exemptions. And pages 20 and 21 will show the entry requirements for this top-up and the sister program, which is cybersecurity and networking. So from time to time, the entry requirements do change, and it's always worth going to that document. They are the most up-to-date entry requirements for these programs.
Thanks, Andrew. So as I mentioned previously, one of the huge benefits of this programme is the highly trained, highly qualified UK academics that are actually delivering this programme through the virtual learning environment. So just wanted to give you a kind of overview of the module leaders so that you can understand the depth and breadth of their experience and knowledge. So we have sort of the 5 modules here. So we have Maxine, who delivers the e-business module, who completed her MBA at the University of Bolton. We have Stuart, who's the module leader for corporate communication systems management and completed an MSc in computer science at the University of Manchester. Gary is the advanced database management systems module leader and was a senior lecturer at London Metropolitan University. And Steve, who is the Information Systems Project, has a PhD in information retrieval and is currently lecturing at the University of Huddersfield. And Shane, the Managing Information Systems Project, who completed his MBA at the University of Durham and has over 10 years of experience of developing and delivering online at university level. So as you can see, the huge amount of experience, the knowledge, and the fact that they are UK academics who are delivering these kind of courses, this high level education all the time. So how is the programme actually taught then to students? Obviously, as a centre, you have been used to delivering maybe the level 4, the level 5 programmes. So how is it taught to students at level 6? So there are 2 intakes per year for the programmes. They're referred to as autumn and spring in the UK. And what that means is September and March, respectively. And that's made up then of 2 16-week semesters. And students study 2 modules each semester. And alongside that, then there is a 40-credit project module, which is actually split across both the first and the second semester. So that's 5 modules in total. And each module includes weekly video lectures, tutorial exercises, and discussion forums. So it's really important to point out that it's not a case of self-study on this programme. Students have access to the virtual learning environment. It's very, as we said, accessible and flexible, but it's not a case of giving the students access and saying, here you go, study at your own, your own will. We have a synchronous program where students receive those weekly live lectures from those UK academics. But we do also understand that a lot of students will be working either full-time or part-time, and they have other commitments as well. So if students are not able to attend these live sessions, they're all recorded and they're all available on the platform at any time, and especially useful for them to refer back to as well. So as we mentioned here, discussion forums, and they're really quite important. They're not assessed in the same way as assignments or anything like that, but they're useful for students to share their knowledge. So the module leader will sort of post a question on a weekly basis, and that will encourage students to actually interact and share their resources and their knowledge as they go along the course. So here is just a sort of brief look at an example of that discussion forum and the virtual learning environment. So as I mentioned, the live chats are actually at specific times and they are recorded. Students can chat or type their questions and then participate in these group discussions. So there's an example there of a question that the module leader might pose, and then students can actually put their thoughts, any extra resources or extra reading that they've completed, and that can be really useful for the students to actually gain another perspective as well. Now moving on to assessment. So we have very rigorous quality assurance processes around assessment. All our module leaders produce the assessment, we carry out the checks, and the university carry out kind of third and fourth checks and external examiners as well. So it's a very high quality assurance process around the assessment. Over the last 2 years or so, we've actually removed the physical invigilated examination component, which is really important to make it more flexible. The idea of it being an online flexible program, but then still having that physical invigilated exam doesn't quite fit. So here we've removed that and we've replaced that with the time-constrained assignments. So that actually replicates those exam conditions remotely. And so we release the assignment question on the VLE, students download that and then have a fixed time, 48-hour period to complete, and then re-upload that to the platform. Assignment questions work differently. Students have a lot more time to actually complete those. Typically, assignment questions are released within week 3, and then they have around 5 weeks to complete that and submit it back onto the VLE. And all those assignments are actually internally moderated by NCC Education and an external examiner.
That was very clear, Becky. Thank you.
And then just finally on the degree classification, and before I hand over to Andrew to go through the next slides. So upon completion of all the 5 modules, students are graded based on the following degree classification, which is standard UK degree classification system, but it might be a bit different to what students are used to in terms of their grading at diploma level and so on. So for students who achieve 70% or higher, this is classed as a first class honours degree, usually equivalent to A or distinction. That might be what students are used to there. And then it goes to an upper second class honours for students who achieve 60 to 70% in assessment, and that's also known as a 2-1 in the UK. 50 to 60% is a lower second class, or what's classed as a 2-2. 40 to 50% is a third, and then we have an ordinary degree as well as a pass. So students will receive one of these classifications upon completion of all assessment and assignments. Okay, so I'll hand over to you now, Andrew.
Thank you for that, Becky. That was all very clear. And just picking up from the degree classifications, Becky, you're going to have to move the slides for me.
Yeah.
So picking up from these, there's a couple of key points I want to make clear, is that the certificate and transcript is identical to the documents a UK student will receive on the campus at the University of Central Lancashire. So there's no difference at all. And also there's no mention of online study here. And that's usually a question we get from international students on this programme. So identical certificate and transcript to UK students and no mention of online study. And if you lose the certificate, which some of our students do, there's a very sort of easy process to follow on the Uclan website. I think they talk about a turnaround time of 10 days, and there's a small fee for that. So lots of support for the students, either from ourselves whilst they're studying and after they graduate on this programme. Becky, can we go on to the next slide? So by receiving a first-class teaching through this programme, and as Becky said, it's a very flexible learning opportunity whilst it's a structured programme. And the support is second to none. And because it's an online programme, it means that we have access to some of the best teachers across the UK. If in the rare occurrence a student fails, so if they fail a component, that's called a resit, or if they fail a module, that's called a retake, they will typically take this at the next semester, or the next time, if it's a retake, at the next time that particular unit has been delivered. And that's all managed by the team here at NCC. And if anyone's got any questions, they just simply contact Claire, who will answer the majority of questions that come in. Let's move on to the next slide. So in terms of graduations, the graduation will take place at the Guildhall in Preston. This is a large university, one of the largest in the UK. We have about 38,000 students. And for those students who receive a pass or above, will be invited to the graduation ceremony. Students who need a visa, and if they want to bring their parents, the university will support them in that by providing a letter of support, and that will help you access any visa which is needed. Some figures which are out yesterday, just to give you some idea, over 500,000 students, international students, are studying a UK degree overseas. And at the university, at universities across the UK, we have about 605,000 international students. So a huge number of international students either studying UK degrees like what we're offering here overseas, over 500,000, and that's called transnational education, and that's the sector we're in. So the students aren't alone here. Let's move on to the next slide, please. So here are a few positive comments. Because this program is online, as I say, we have access to some of the best teachers with the weekly lectures, tutorials, discussion forums, and live chats from experts that really make sure that students are getting the best possible support and experience. And if you look at some of these comments, I think that's backed up from what our students say, and certainly those centres out there who regularly put students onto this program, the feedback has been really positive. And it's really enlightening for us to see, both us and the lecturers. Can I move on? So here's one of our student ambassadors. This is Nyan, one of our students from Myanmar. So although there's been some political unrest, and obviously we've had COVID last 2 years and the disruption that has caused, there's been no disruption to this program. And it has continued, the assessments has continued, and as Becky said earlier on, we moved from exam to assignments quite quickly as the pandemic was introduced to all of us, and it has not caused any disruption to this program. And I think that's really is a testament to the course and the way it's supported from the staff here at NCC Education, and obviously your support as well, providing that sort of pastoral support in the background. And what it does is it means that if students have to self-isolate, or if they can't travel, or they want to travel to go and see a relative or friend or whatever it may be, they can still continue with their studies. And that's really important for us. Let's go on to slide 19. So just to introduce, so launched earlier this year is our cybersecurity and networking, and this is the second intake we have for this program. And the reason we introduced this is because there's a huge demand in the market. You know, this is what employers want our learners to have. This is a program that will equip graduates with the knowledge, the technical, the interpersonal skills necessary for taking part in the design, implementation and management of security of modern computer systems. You know, and as I say, employers are seeking students with these skills. And our students leave the program being job ready. And again, that's a testament to the curriculum we offer here. Let's go on to slide 20, please, Becky. So we covered this on an earlier slide for the Computing and Information Systems. Here are the entry requirements for the cybersecurity and networking. Obviously, it's a natural progression for those students who have level 4 diploma in computing and the level 5 diploma in computing with cybersecurity. There are some legacy NCC qualifications which we accept. And the ABMA, the ATHE, OTHM, Pearson, Qualify, etc. As I said earlier, you know, if there's any doubt about the particular title, go to our website, About Us, Policies and Procedures, and that direct entry and exemptions document. And that will have the full title of the qualification where acceptance is guaranteed. And again, as we said earlier on, any student with other qualifications, it could be from a local institution, local university, it could be work experience. Obviously, we're looking for very good work experience here and some academic qualifications since leaving school. And we will look at that and we will do the necessary mapping, our academics, and we will say yes or no, whether they're suitable for this program or the other program. Okay, so we will consider them for both programs and give you as quick an answer as we can. Obviously, as we move towards the closing date for the September cycle, we have the dates coming up shortly. I think it's the 12th of August. You know, don't leave it till the last day to come to us with a curriculum and saying, can this student come into the program? You know, you need to give us some time to go through the curriculum. So please do that now if there's any students who may be considering entry onto the program. Let's go on to the next slide, please. So here's the curriculum. So the first 4 units, similar structure to the Computing and Information Systems. These are 20 credit units. So Advanced Database Management Systems, Corporate Communication Systems Management, Cloud and Virtualization Security, Cybersecurity Management, and that Information Systems project. And that's the 40 credit project. So that all comes to 120 credits. So a UK degree is typically 3 years. Each year is 120 credits, and that's 360 credits in total. And on completion of that, students will get the full UK degree. But it is important when you consider students whether they're eligible for this program and they haven't gone through the NCC route. When doing the mapping exercise, we have to find 240 credits in their prior study. And so if a student has only done a 1-year course, it's unlikely that they will get entry onto this unless they've got a considerable amount of work experience. So just bear that in mind. Okay, let's move on to something which has become pretty exciting. I find this interesting, and I think employers will. You know, this is really the USP for the cybersecurity network, not only in terms of the skills which the students go away with, but we also offer 2 extra sort of added value pieces. So first of all, our partnership with CompTIA. So every graduate who comes onto this top-up degree will have an opportunity to sit an industry certification, and that is built into the price of the program. So students have a choice of, if you look on the right side of the PowerPoint slide, it's either a CompTIA cybersecurity qualification or a cloud infrastructure qualification. That's the second one. So students will be given a choice whether they want to sit one or the other. They don't have to do this during the course. They do it when they complete it. That's probably best. It will require a little bit of preparation, and it's important to do that preparation if you want to pass that exam. But you know, these are bona fide CompTIA exams, and they're industry recognized across the globe. And so really that really adds something else to the student's CV, you know, it'll really make them stand out. So they've got a UK degree in cybersecurity networking, and they've got a CompTIA industry qualification as well. So that was going to make them stand out. In addition to that, we've signed up to immersive labs. And for anyone who doesn't know, this offers an opportunity for the students on the program to gain hands-on experience in tackling cybersecurity challenges using a cloud-based platform, providing greater depth in understanding how to deal with cybersecurity threats. Okay, so this is a platform where students go on and they get some real-life experience, really, in terms of how to deal with these sort of cybersecurity challenges, which we all are as individuals and organizations all the time at the moment. So I think that's a really solid combination of offers here, and it really makes this stand out. So go on, Becky, what are you going to say about them?
I think it's just, you know, in terms of having that option in one, a kind of package of having the academic degree and professional certification from an industry body is fantastic. It's not hugely available elsewhere. It's quite unique in terms of this offering, and it's really important that, you know, students have that academic knowledge, but also then to get the chance to have that professional certification and to be able to experience the immersive labs as well and get that hands-on practical knowledge is a fantastic opportunity.
I quite agree, and you know, we're just trying to improve all our qualifications as much as we can, and give our students as much opportunity as possible in terms of that readiness to go out into the working world and be fully armed with the sort of knowledge and qualifications which employers want, and that's what we want. We want to prepare all our learners for the outside world. Okay, let's right. So this is important, and as I mentioned, the next intake is in September. The registration date is the 12th of August, and that's really important to honour and respect that registration deadline. We continually turn away people every year because they come too late, and the reason we have that date is that obviously we need to process your application form. We need to run it past the university, especially if there's non-standard qualifications. But there's also an induction week before that teaching commences. So that's an opportunity for every learner to go onto the platform and navigate and use all the tools which are available, so they fully understand what is required of them, firstly, and secondly, how to use the platform. So Friday the 12th of August, that's the last date. You know, that's not the first date, that's the last date for us to receive applications. First week of teaching is the 5th of September. When registering students, that goes through the Pro portal. So for all our partner centres who should be on this call, you should be familiar with the portal, and students will be registered through that portal by yourselves. And when they go into the portal, they have two choices, whether it's the BSc in Computing and Information Systems or the Cybersecurity and Networking. And you also need to have some documents ready. So if students have a HND, a BTEC HND, obviously that's a 2-year program. So one certificate and transcript will suffice there. If students have, for example, the NCC diplomas, we need to see the level 4 and the level 5 diploma transcripts. Okay, and we also need some proof of identification. This could be a sort of an identity card, a passport, some bona fide identification with a picture of the student on it. And that's absolutely crucial. If there's some uncertainty over that, get the registration in as early as possible. And then if we need to follow up with you, there's plenty of time. But if you leave it to the last minute, you know, that's when problems can occur. And what we don't want to do, and the reason we're strict about this, is because there's nothing more painful for a student to start a program, say in the 2nd or 3rd week. And some institutions do that. We do not want to do that, and we don't do it. So please submit the information in good time, and that allows us, your CSE, to come back to you and sort out everything. So there's no disappointment here. Okay, let's move on to the final slide, some questions. I hope we get some questions. I know Becky talked about some of the job opportunities. You know, I had a quick look online last night for cybersecurity jobs, and, you know, the starting salary, I'm based here in the UK, the starting salary for some of these around £40,000, you know, so, you know, there's some fantastic opportunities. Obviously, that's going to vary all around the world, but it really is a passport to a great career, some great opportunities in the country they live or in other countries. But, you know, I think, you know, we're providing the tools that hopefully will set people up for the future. If students want to, I'm waiting for questions to come in, so please type away if you've got any questions. But just something else about the University of Central Lancashire, that if students complete this programme, they will be eligible for a discount if they want to go and do a master's on campus at Uclan. I think from memory it's 10% the discount. But there's certainly a discount for our students who go on and do a master's qualification. And if anyone's familiar with the visa rules, if you come here for a 1-year master's course, you will be eligible to remain after that to take advantage of the graduate visa. It used to be called a post-study work visa, it's now called a graduate visa, and that will allow a student to remain here for 2 years for the purpose of employment. And that certainly is gaining a lot of traction across the world. Are there any other questions?
Can't see any in the chat box yet.
What about, Becky, you know, obviously the CSE should be the first point of contact for a centre, a registration process. There's also the Uclan at NCC web email address as well, isn't there?
Yes, but I think you're quite right. I think the customer support executive should be the first point of call, but that is also available in terms of the actual programme manager, with Claire running everything on that programme. And we can then check, you know, make sure. I think some of the queries that we get the most is that some element of the evidence that's needed for students is missing. That's usually one of the problems when it comes to registration, and it just delays things. So, you know, kind of recommend having that checklist of making sure you've got the candidate's details, you've got the candidate's evidence of prior learning, so their level 4 and level 5 evidence, and their identification. And that should be everything that you need. So if you can get that together before, and as Andrew said, do that registration in good time, way before the deadline. So if there are any, if we need to check anything or if there's any queries about the application, we've got plenty of time to rectify them.
And we're not looking for any evidence of English language, are we?
No, exactly.
So no IELTS, no TOEFL certificates. As long as they've studied their previous qualifications in English and assessed in English, there is no need to submit that evidence.
Yep.
So we've tried to make this as straightforward and easy as possible. We have a question. Would you like to just post it on the chat?
I can unmute.
Can we unmute?
There was a hand up.
Could you put your hand up again and we'll try and unmute you. And just briefly about fees. Obviously, you all have your agreements with NCC, and it's up to the centre to set what their fees are to the students. But as Becky said earlier in the presentation, this is a very competitive qualification. Mm. If a student comes to the UK to do a top-up degree, which is a recognised term after completing level 4 and level 5, they could be spending in the region of around £15,000 for their education, and perhaps another £8,000 for accommodation and food and travel, etc. Maybe more. So this is hugely competitive, and competitive against other similar programs offered by universities or university partners. So we've tried to make this as affordable, as flexible, and open to as many students as possible. I think it's a win-win. It's a win for centres. It allows them to offer a full degree pathway overseas when people are only just sort of getting back to travel at this moment. And it's a win-win for the student as well.
We got any? I don't think we've got any questions in the chat, Andrew.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We've recorded this session. We'll send it to everybody. We'll send it to all our centres after this. Yep. We also have that toolkit, don't we, which was sent out recently, which has got some case studies on there. It's got some testimonials. It's got a bit more about the programme, and hopefully that can answer your questions and any questions you get from students and parents about this programme. But if it doesn't suffice, come back to your business development manager, and they will have the answers ready for you. And if any of the students want to speak to anyone at NCC, I'm sure we can facilitate that as well. If there's any concerns there, we try and make all ourselves approachable. We answer all our emails from students and centres. If anyone is seeking any information or there's any confusion, we want to try and overcome that. Okay, all right. Shall we say goodbye at this point?
I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today and giving us your time. It was really, really good session. Thank you, Andrew.
Good, thank you. And nice to do this session with you. Okay, all right. Bye from me.
Take care.
Have a great week and a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.